Welcome to Unstoppable Female Entrepreneurs, where business expert and success coach Kelsey Matheson teaches you how to massively grow your business, navigate the mind drama that's holding you back, make more money, and acquire the skills and confidence to become unstoppable.
Hello and welcome to Unstoppable Female Entrepreneurs. I'm Kelsey Matheson and this is episode number 24. Quarter one of 2022 is almost over, my friends. What? Oh my gosh, I know. We're heading into spring. I'm diving into finishing quarter one goals with my mastermind. I'm buying outdoor furniture for our new roof deck. I'm getting excited about the warmer weather. I'm stocking up on all my allergy medication. Oh, yes. I love spring, but my body does not. I really suffer from allergies in the spring. And then they tend to come back in September as well, just not as severe. But April and May, they can be hellish months for me and my sinuses. But I don't want to complain. Like, I would rather deal with itchy eyes and a stuffy nose and sneezing than the cold weather. I mean, any day. I mean, I don't know about you, but I prefer the warm weather over a cold day anytime. I would rather have to deal with even crazy hot weather, like where it's so hot, you're just drenched in sweat, than deal with the freezing cold. And then some people will say like, yeah, but aren't you used to the cold? You're from Canada. And I'm like, I'm from Canada, so I've had enough of it. I'm done with cold weather. I mean, look, it gets cold here in New York too. Actually, I really do love experiencing all four seasons, but the winters are milder here. They're shorter here in New York. So I'll take that. So today I want to talk a little bit about a guilty pleasure that I happened to stumble on this past weekend. I'm obsessed. So I was supposed to go to Miami to celebrate one of my best friend's birthdays. It was a milestone birthday for her. And we actually did have an amazingly fun online celebration in January, which is when her actual birthday is. But we planned this trip to Miami as well. And literally at the 11th hour, I had to cancel. So our dog is a rescue, and his name is Booker. And unfortunately, Booker did not get along with one of the other dogs at the dog sitters, and I had to bring him back home. So I was scrambling to try to get alternate care, but it was such last minute. And he can't just go to anyone. Like, he's a rescue. He has some behavioral stuff that, we're dealing with and we're working on, but he's also really big. He's very, very strong. So as much as I tried to find somebody else to watch him or take care of him, it just didn't work out and I had to cancel. So my friend Priya, she went to Miami with another friend that was joining us. So at least she didn't have to cancel her trip or go solo. But it was really upsetting. Like, I felt horrible for letting her down. I felt horrible for getting stuck at home. I was pouty. I was mad at the dog, all the things. And I should mention, I was stuck at home alone because my husband, Scott, and my daughter, Maya, were in Canada for the long week, or it wasn't a long weekend, but they were there for a 4-day weekend because they were attending a funeral. And so that's why we needed a dog sitter to begin with, because I was going to Florida. They were going to a funeral. So all this to say that I stumbled on a Netflix show and it had me go down the rabbit hole, like in a big way. And I became obsessed. So as I had my pity party, I binged this show on Netflix called Life After Death with Tyler Henry. Now, I might be late to the party here, but I'm not into celebrity culture. I'm not really into a lot of, pop culture. So I had never heard of Tyler Henry before, who is also known as the Hollywood Medium. I didn't know that he had another series on the E! Network for 4 years. I never heard of him. I didn't know anything about him. So after I went down the rabbit hole, I now know that at the age of 17, he moved to Hollywood. He did a show on the E! Network for 4 years called Hollywood Medium. And now he's shot his first season of the show called Life After Death with Tyler Henry for Netflix. So Netflix is how I came across him. I didn't know about this other show. And I'm obsessed, my friends, like obsessed. So some of you might be thinking, where have you been, Kelsey? Like living under a rock? And maybe some of you are thinking like, I don't know who you're talking about. And maybe some of you are thinking, oh my God, I know exactly what you're talking about and it's total BS. I wouldn't waste my time. Well, whatever you're thinking, I went down the rabbit hole. And now that my husband is back from Canada, I'm dragging him with me. And now he's totally on the ride as well. And don't worry, I'm going to tie this into entrepreneurship. I haven't forgotten the title of this podcast. Don't worry. But just allow me to dive into this a little bit. So Tyler Henry is a clairvoyant medium. And now, listen, whether you believe in this stuff or not, this show is compelling. And just for the record, I do believe that some people have the ability to connect with energy in a way that others don't or can't. And I believe that some people are able to use their brains in a way that most people don't or can't. I know that we're all energy. I know that everything on this planet and that the planet itself is energy and that energy cannot be created or destroyed. So I believe that after our bodies die, we transition into another form of energy. And this isn't woo-woo. Like really, this is quantum physics. So when I watch Tyler Henry do his thing, I do believe that he can tap into energy in a way that the majority of the population can't, right? Or don't. Now, I've heard it said many, many times that we all have the capacity to enhance, this sixth sense or echolocation or tapping into frequency or however you want to describe it. We all have the ability or the capability, but apparently most of us walk around just using our 5 main senses of taste, touch, sight, smell, and sound. We don't utilize this sixth sense, so to speak. So maybe we can think about it like this. Anyone can learn how to sing or dance or paint or tell jokes or play an instrument or play a sport. But some people are more naturally gifted or skilled in that area than others. Now, practice will always enhance that skill, but I know that no matter how much I practice, I will never be able to sing like Julie Andrews, for example, or Adele. No matter how much I train and practice telling jokes, my mind will never be as smart, quick, clever, and brilliant in comedy the way that, it was for Robin Williams. Now, I also have my own experience with a friend of mine who channels. So kind of like Esther Hicks channels Abraham. I've experienced it. I've had conversations with them through her. She calls them her peeps. And I know they actually have a name, kind of like Abraham has a name. My friend's group has a name as well. She calls them her peeps. Just to make it easier. I don't know. That's just how she refers to them. But I know that when I was talking to them, I wasn't talking to her. Just like when Esther is channeling Abraham, you can tell they're coming through Esther, but it's not Esther. And I know that this might be totally out there for some of you, but just stick with me because what I'm going to talk about has everything to do with entrepreneurship. I'm going to talk about this in the context of intuition. Intuition is the ability to know something without any proof. And Tyler Henry, at 10 years old, told his mother that his grandmother was going to die. And as his mother was like literally telling him that she wasn't, and that wasn't the case, and that she was fine, moments later, they received a phone call that his grandmother had in fact passed away. He knew something without any proof. And as entrepreneurs, it's so important to listen to your intuition, your gut feeling or natural instinct or sixth sense or your spidey senses or whatever that is. That little feeling or that little voice inside your head where you just know. Intuition is one of the most powerful tools we have. Now, we may not be able to connect with the spirit realm or talk to dead people, or maybe you can. If you can, let me know. I'm just going to put it out there right now, Tyler Henry. I would love a reading from you one day. I'm just going to say it. I know you have like 300,000 people on your waiting list, but maybe I should add myself to that list. But listen, as wellness entrepreneurs, tapping into your intuition can play a very important role in becoming unstoppable. It can be crucial to moving the needle on your business. One huge factor that has contributed to my success was listening to my gut. When I first partnered up with my two business partners and we started Anamaya, I just knew that's what I had to do. I just knew that this was the road I needed to take. And it was crazy. Like crazy. Like investing my money into a business with people I didn't know very well, a business I had never created before in an industry that I wasn't familiar with, in a country I didn't live in, and I didn't even speak the language. Like crazy. People thinking literally that I'm batshit crazy, especially as a new mom. Like, what the hell was I thinking? I was pregnant when I decided to do all of this. And then Maya was born in November of 2009. And then we opened Anamaya 1 month later. Crazy. But I listened to my gut. My instincts on this were so strong. It was just something I had to do. So I did it. And now I run a world-renowned retreat center that has been featured in Forbes, Elle Magazine, Condé Nast, Chatelaine, and so many more. And it's helped to transform thousands of lives. The brain has the ability to process decisions without using analytical reasoning. I mean, that's what intuition is. And a study that was published in the journal Psychology Science, where a technique was literally devised to measure intuition, they found that people can use their intuition to make faster, more confident, and more accurate decisions. Plus, and I don't think this is really all that surprising, but as you use your intuition more and more over time, people get better and better at using it. I mean, that makes total sense to me, right? It's like anything else. And an article in Forbes magazine said that trusting your intuition can be an entrepreneur's most powerful secret weapon. I love that. It's like a little secret weapon, a little superpower. I love that, right? And Barbara Corcoran, who was the first female shark on the show Shark Tank, said, "Don't you dare underestimate the power of your own instinct. Many entrepreneurs who ignore their instinct regret it later." And Carol Ward, who is the author of Find Your Inner Voice, said when people allow instinct and intuition to be a part of their decision-making process, they experience less regret and feel less conflicted when they make important decisions. And even the military recognizes the importance of intuition. Apparently, the U.S. Navy invested something like, $4 million. No, it wasn't quite. It was like 3.9 or something million dollars into helping Marines and sailors improve their intuition skills. So how do we do that as we build our businesses? Trusting your gut at the very core means getting quiet. It means processing any triggers and emotions that are surfacing. It means making decisions from a very clear and clean space. Because if your motivation for making a decision is based in fear or graspiness or desperation or anger or any emotion that feels more triggered or negative, or like you're trying to move away from something, or the motivation is because it's going to be better on the other side of something, then that's a sign that there's something to process. That's not clean. That's not clear, right? That's kind of messy and mucky. What you do is you take in all the information that you can gather. You look at things from all different perspectives. You get in touch with the emotions that are surfacing. And then you get quiet and you listen. That little voice inside of you is very powerful. We've all listened to our gut instinct in regards to relationships or situations that maybe didn't feel right or safe and have helped us to guide us and get us to where we are today. Our intuition will rarely steer you wrong. And look, it isn't magic, it's real. People like Richard Branson and Oprah Winfrey say that they rely on their intuition heavily. And when people ask me, well, how did you know to partner up with these people who you didn't really know very well and start Nehemiah? Or how did you decide to get involved with the backpack company Be Outfitter? And I always say that a huge part of it was just gut instinct. I just knew. My intuition told me that this was the direction I had to go. Now, did I take in all the information that I could about the circumstance? Yes. Did I rely heavily on what that little voice inside my head was telling me? 100%. Did it make total logical sense? Nope, not really. And let me tell you, it takes courage. It takes courage to trust your intuition, and maybe even more courage to admit to others how much you rely on your gut feelings. Because it doesn't take as much courage for me to share, that I heavily relied on my intuition when I started Nehemiah or when I started Be Outfitter. It doesn't take that much courage now because I have success under my belt. Right? Does that make sense? But it would have taken me a hell of a lot more courage to admit that in the beginning, when everyone thought I was a nut job for investing time and money and starting these businesses that totally could have flopped. But this is also becoming more scientific. So there is more and more scientific evidence that your actual gut is physically involved in the intuitive process, right? Your intuition is triggered by signals sent through many channels of neural communication between your gut and your brain. I mean, you've probably heard before that our gut is our second brain, right? Well, our gut actually can store memories. The microbiome, or the beneficial bacteria in our healthy gut, produce neurotransmitters that reach the brain and can stimulate or alter its operation. So this could be the reason for our gut feelings. Isn't that amazing? I mean, I find this stuff super, super cool. And let me also put this out there. When you're making big decisions, should logic come into play? Yes. But don't discount bringing awareness to the emotions coming up and the motivation behind what decision it is that you want to make, and what that little voice inside you is saying or how it's guiding you. Meditate, journal, incorporate some dedicated thinking time to the decision, get coaching, find some stillness, scan your body, follow your gut. So the question I have for you today, my friends, is what is your gut instinct telling you? As entrepreneurs, we are making decisions all day long. So I want you to tap in and ask yourself, what is my gut instinct telling me? That is what I have for you today, my friends. But before we jump off, I want to invite you to check out my new free training on the 5 keys to breaking the 10K code. The link is in the show notes. I created this training with the tips and tricks that I used, and I still use today, to build my businesses, stay on track, and go further faster. I want that for you as well. I want that for your business. I want that for all the people you're going to help through your business. The 5 keys to breaking the 10K code. These are proven techniques for wellness entrepreneurs who want to start making more money in their business. So sign up, take the training, become unstoppable. Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to connecting with you next week. Ciao for now. Hey, if you'd like a weekly dose of motivation, inspiration, and actionable tips to grow your business while managing all the things, then you need to get on my email list. Just head over to kelseymatheson.com to join my list. And while you're there, check out the awesome free content I give away. If you enjoyed what you heard today, please share with other female entrepreneurs who need some love and support. And of course, if you haven't already, I would be so grateful if you subscribe, rate, and review my show on your favorite podcast player. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to connecting with you next week.